we incorporate sessions with the actual web app that we were doing in class. Here I want to show you, I'm starting off with the same sessions file that I used in the last demonstration. I've deleted a few things, but I kept this delete session function. I kept the authorization header function. I kept the create session ID function. I don't think I've changed anything there yet. I'm probably not going to use the input picker, but it's not going to throw an error or anything. I did comment out this because I only want to create the session ID after they're logged in. So then I went to my index.html and I made sure that I was importing my sessions JavaScript before my app JavaScript. I don't know that it's going to make a difference, but that's what I did. And then that sessions.js is available to my app. So I don't think there's anything there that I need to talk about, but we'll see. So then we're going to do, user login, right? I've got a login form that I've created. Just log in with an email and a password. That's how I'm going to have them log in. And of course, we can go find the login stuff that I created. So when the button's clicked, and you should already know how to do click events, so that's fine. So when they click the button, we're going to do login user. So we're going to go grab those form elements that I just showed you, convert them to a value. You can log it. You can convert them to this query string. We can then visit. This is the endpoint I created, sessions/auth. And it's going to be a post. We're going to make sure we send our authorization header and our appropriate content type, fine. And then when it comes back, this is the main piece. So again, we've done all this, but once it comes back, this is just my modal that shows that everything was logged in. Okay, I'm going to set that cookie. I'm going to set the session ID cookie when they log in successfully. And then I'm going to load my trails. If they don't log in successfully, I don't want to load the trails. I want to alert them, or I have my modal, my login modal go away either case, have the login go away. And then I added a catch down here in case there was some other weird error that I needed to look at so to fail more gracefully. But again, there's nothing too exciting here. I checked if the status was equal to 200, and if it was, set the cookie. Otherwise, don't. So that's how you're going to do login. Let's look at the back end. Back end on app.py, let's see what endpoint we're looking for. We're looking for sessions auth. Okay, so sessions auth. When there's a post that comes in, I'm going to call this validate user, grab the email and password out of there, connect to your database, and then I'm going to call validate password. Now, that's a function I wrote, which validate password is right here. So I'm passing in the email and the password. I created a function inside of this class that says get user password by email. There's a lot of different ways you could do this. That's just the first one that came to mind. So I pass in the email to that function and get user password by email. Select password from users where email equals this. Pass in the email, fetch a row. I return the row. That's it. And then down here I said if, so the row should be my stored password. As long as it's not none, then I'm going to do bcrypt.verify. This is the part we didn't talk about in class. And I'm going to compare my password that was passed in with the stored password I just retrieved from the database. Now, why did I put a :0 there? Because it actually returned a list. You'd have to go look at that. You can console.log it, but it compares these two passwords. So bcrypt.verify does that. And if it's verified, then we'll return true. Otherwise, we'll return false. So let me go back to my flow here. Here. So validate password if valid. So if it returned true, set this global session data, user_ID equal to my email, log something out. And then I returned a little bit longer message or stuff. I returned dictionary or the message valid email, and I also return session ID, and then we return 200 access control.origin. So it's like a line like this, but I just broke it up into multiple lines, and then instead of just returning a single message, I'm returning a dictionary that I can play with in a second. But there's my else. Else invalid login, return a 401. Jump back to my flow over here. So fine. Again, if response.status equals 200, so it should return a 200. If it's anything else, it will have an error. So that is how I would start off with users. Is there anything else here? Well, you have, I imported the session store. Again, you can see all my code there. Nothing else too exciting there on the back end. You've all got that stuff. Oh, there's my load session data. You saw that in the previous one. And there's my pre-flight stuff. We just went over that one. There's delete session data and retrieve session, which is the same as the last one. Now let's go back here. So basically, I only want them to be able to do stuff if they're logged in. If they've logged in, they set this session ID, set the item on their local storage. So anything we want to protect, we just need to check to see if that cookie exists. So basically, I created this isLoggedIn function, which went and tries to retrieve this item from local storage. And it returns true as long as it's not null or as long as it's not empty. And so then if I want to protect something like loading my trails, I can say if they're not logged in, if not is logged in, please log in first and just return, kick them out of the function. Or let's see, I had another one like do delete. If they're not logged in, they can't do a delete. Add new trail. If they're not logged in, kick them out. They can't do that. So as I look over here, here's my app again. Let's refresh. And of course I'm logged in. So let me delete that cookie. So under here, storage, local, this one. And then I refresh. It says log in first. It doesn't show anything. So I click log in, and then it shows it. Let's log out again. Refresh. And okay, log in first. So if I try to add trail, oh, well, that, I'd have to go protect. I protected that. I can't do a submit, but it allows me to see the add trail, or allows me to see the modal for that. So anyway, you can protect anything you want by sticking that little function in front of it. And I think that covers everything we need for sessions and authentication.